I'm Jacqueline Johnson.
And I'm Marina Middleton.
And this is Work Party, a podcast that's part work and part party. Work Party celebrates a new generation of women who are redefining the meaning of work on their own terms and having fun while doing it.
In this podcast, we are diving into all the areas of being a working woman. Mind, body, and business. No topic is off limit.
Real talk and hot takes. Think of us as your internet work wives. This is Work Party,
the podcast.
Wait, where's the champagne?
Personal finance content on the internet is a minefield. It's either condescending, designed for men, or flat out wrong. Vivian Tu fixed that. As your rich BFF, she made money advice feel like a text from your smartest friend, which we love. And 10 million people followed. Her first book, Rich AF, was an instant New York Times bestseller. Her new book, Well Endowed, picks up where that left off. The big decisions, home ownership, marriage, kids, generational wealth, everything your late 20s and 30s are throwing at you. And today, we're going deep. Her stories, the numbers most women never hear, and tactical advice for founders, creators, and anyone building a life on their own terms. Vivian, welcome to Work Party.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited. I obviously, as everybody else is on the internet, is obsessed with the content that you show up. It feels very obviously organic and educational, but it also feels like you really care about the information that's going out, which I think in this digital era, sometimes people miss that. So we'll back up just in case people didn't know about you, but you grew up the daughter of a Chinese immigrants and translated finance documents for your parents as a kid. How did that shape how you think about money early on?
You know, I think it made me realize that like the world isn't fair. My parents are good people. They are honest, they are hardworking. And time again, I noticed that like they would be taken advantage of in the financial system, whether it be having to call to get a claim adjusted on our health insurance, or maybe because my mom had a certain type of accent, she would be more qualified than other interviewees, but like I had to be on the back, like helping her with her resume, like all of these little things that like, frankly, a young child should not be helping their parents with. It should be the other way around once that child becomes of age. You know, I had to learn really early on. And it showed me that there are rules and that the folks who know the rules, the folks who can play by the rules correctly get ahead, and the folks that don't and have never gotten that education are kind of left behind. And it broke my heart because I can look around and see so many people where I look at their story and I look at their experience and I'm just looking at my parents 20 years ago, 40 years ago. And for me, that's why it's so important to have these conversations, to bring this education, to make it free, because I really wish that it's something that I would have had. And I think the greatest privilege of my life is being the big sister that I didn't get.
I love that. Are you an only child?
I am.
Yes.
No pressure.
Yeah, no, so I'm an only child. I am also a first-generation immigrant, and so I've always translated everything for my parents. And even like in the healthcare system, I always would ask like doctors, like, if I wasn't here, what would happen?
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm constantly asking that. And my parents sometimes like can't fathom why they get this different treatment. And I'm like, it's just how it works. And so I can relate so much with that when it comes to finance, when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to anything. I was translating documents from like day one.
Can I tell you, nowadays, like I was taking my parents out, we were like going out, whatever, and my mom made a comment about how, wow, like I didn't realize so many people knew who you were. Like we get such better treatment. And I'm like, Mom, I don't think it's because I'm on the internet. Frankly, I don't think these people know who I am. It's because I get to be demanding in a way that you don't, because I can really articulate what exactly I need. And I think we should all feel entitled to good service. We should all feel entitled to get a fair shake, that we should all be treated the same way, that we shouldn't be, you know, spoken to in a condescending tone. Like she made a comment, we went shopping together and, you know, we were looking at some designer luxury stores and she was like, wow, like we went to the store together and they must know you have money somehow because they immediately sat you down in a private area and brought out tea. She goes, that never happens when I walk into these kinds of stores. And it's like, well, Mom, like, I know what I'm asking for and I know what the experience should be like. And if they make me wait around and they don't treat me like I'm a customer worthy of keeping, like I'm not going to buy anything. And the designer across the street is going to have me and give me the experience that I deserve. And so it's frustrating. I think you don't know what you don't know. And if you don't know that you deserve something, you don't know to ask for it.
Yeah, I love that. And that's a good reminder for honestly all of us. We were talking a lot about just investing and as founders and pitching and all of that stuff. And you don't know what you don't know, but you also have to ask for it. And you have to like show up for yourself and yeah, you get that.
And what a shame, right? Because 2% of VC founding goes to women-led teams. And so when 98% of these teams can go and ask each other and be like, yo, bro, like, how did this go for you? Or like, what was the process? And that 2% doesn't necessarily feel confident or have the mentorship that they otherwise would in an industry that is incredibly cutthroat, incredibly challenging, competitive, and just like not an easy place to be a woman in a male-dominated field.
Totally.
Like, we don't get that information. There is no information exchange.
When was that like aha moment for you? Was it in corporate? Like walk us through your background before you went out on your own and became an entrepreneur.
Yeah. I give her a shout out in like every single interview I've ever done. My first manager, now mentor, she and I are still really close. She was at my wedding, but she was the first Asian woman I ever saw. And I was like, you are rich. You are powerful. You have a life worthy of envy, and you built it all yourself. And for the first time, I saw a person living a reality that I wanted, and it felt like it was finally attainable for someone who looked like me. And on my very first week of work, she sat me down and she said, I just want to let you know, because of who you are, because of the way you look, you're going to have to work twice as hard to get half as much. Sorry, thanks for punching me in the gut on my 5th day of work. I didn't want to hear that. I was like, well, why can't I just be treated like everybody else? Or like, why can't I get the same fair shake as the quarterback of the Yale football team? Like, he and I started at the same time. And it was like, well, because he's a boy. He's a white boy. And he has literally a couple dozen other people who look at him and see themselves, and he's going to get a level of mentorship that you probably won't have. She's like, unfortunately, all you got is me. And man, do I feel grateful that I had her. She walked me through everything. I mean, the reason I was contributing to my 401k is because of her. The reason why I knew to use the company catalog to get cheaper hotels was because of her. Frankly, the reason I knew where to get my nails done for cheap, the reason I knew where to go get my lashes done, it was all because I asked her. And she really was the first time I saw the real difference between the haves and the have-nots. And she peeled back the curtain and let me take a look.
Yeah. I think back of like, you really don't know what you don't know. I didn't realize that I was, that there was so much that I didn't know, especially when it came to finance. I'm 34 now. And I would say it wasn't until like 2 years ago when we were buying Create and Cultivate that I was introduced to this world. And the first thing that kept coming to mind was like, wow, if I knew this information, even if I never wanted to raise, even if I never wanted to be a founder or buy a company or anything, simply knowing that information would have changed the trajectory of my personal and professional life. Like it would just have empowered me to show up in the rooms differently. And I think that a lot of us don't even know what we're missing from a knowledge perspective. So like going to events, obviously like following you and getting content from you is so important because that knowledge just, it's like empowerment.
It's literally also just wealth. Like passing wealth along to your friends or lifting up your community doesn't have to be dollars and cents. It's literally information. Like that is life-changing information. To your exact point, when you know you've got the sauce, when you know you are the smartest person in the room, you come in head high, shoulders back. You know what's up. But if you feel like everybody in the room is going to secret meetings without you, you don't know what's going on, you're meek. You don't have the ability to play from a position of strength. And so it's just so critical that we all get this info.
Yeah, so let's talk about the finance industry. You've called the finance industry male, pale, and stale. Love. Women hold 32% of their wealth in equities versus 75% of men, a gap that costs women almost $1 million in lost returns over a career. Is the problem that you feel education, access, or is it something deeper?
I think women need to get a better publicist. So when we talk to young boys about money, we say things like, grow your wealth, step into your power, embrace that, strong masculinity. How do we talk to young women about money? don't be a shopaholic. Like, you know, ooh, going a little crazy there at the Sephora haul, da-da-da. Like, there's literally articles written about us. Women love avocado toast. We love lattes. We love getting our nails done. People have done full deep dives into our spending. But why is it that Taylor Swift tickets are a problem, but your tickets to go see your favorite basketball team aren't? Why is it that it is so crazy for me to buy a $300 red light mask, but your PS5 is cool? Like, oh, I'm so glad that you went and got, you know, sporting equipment to go golfing. That's a couple $1,000. But heaven forbid I get a pair of really comfortable leather shoes. We don't talk about money the same way to women and men. And because of that, women have literally been brainwashed into thinking that we are bad with money when the stats tell a completely different story. And the story and the facts are that more single women than single men own homes in all 50 states. We have less debt across every single category except student loans because we are, in fact, getting more educated than our male partners. And then 3, Fidelity actually did a survey and found across their portfolio holders, women's portfolios outperformed men's because women felt like they didn't know anything. So they just became slow and steady buy and hold investors. They were like, I don't want to like mess with this too much. Men think they're a lot smarter than they are. What is it? Dunning-Kruger, where they think they can like fly a plane or like do whatever just by reading a manual. They literally think that they are so smart that they can beat the market. They're going to become day traders, swing traders, and get rich overnight. They end up losing all their money. And so to me, it's so silly that men get to have a publicist that is working for them and our publicist is nowhere to be found. Like, where's the good PR for women? Because we are crushing it and we're not getting the type of accolades that our male partners get. And if we actually focused on telling the real story, maybe young girls wouldn't delegate the job of getting their finances in check to their fathers, then their husbands, and then their sons.
Yeah.
We do it ourselves.
I'm obsessed with this. And you talk obviously about so much in your book, but your book is about building wealth inside the system that we exist in, right? At what point in financial literacy is not enough, like what in the system just hasn't changed, you know, like that you feel like really passionate about that needs to change?
Well, I think it's a couple things. First and foremost, K through 12, personal finance education is not mandated in schools. At the federal level, this needs to be part of the curriculum. The same way that you're learning math, science, history, English, like you need to be learning about money. You need to learn how to file a tax return. You need to know how to do a budget. You need to know what are scams that you could be falling for. You need to understand compound interest and how to invest. You need to understand how to pay down debt, when it's appropriate to take it and when it's not. We need to know all of these things. Like a boot camp on personal finance would save lives. I promise you it would. But think about who is actually incentivized to do that. If more people understand their money, they don't take the crappy jobs, but we need people to work the crappy jobs. Like, not to be full tinfoil hat, but like, we need people to do the jobs that a lot of people don't want to do. And the only people that can take those and are willing to work for a minimum wage or even, sub minimum wage in many cases for waiters and servers are people who don't have other options. And that is really sad.
Yeah.
I think we need to give that as a piece of education. 2, I think systemically, over the past couple decades, policy implementation has been egregious. Like, we have made it so easy for the rich to get richer and the poor to get poorer, and we do not provide the same level of social safety net that other developing nations do. We need to make sure our most vulnerable are taken care of, and frankly, we need to make sure that people who are wealthy, we aren't just taxing income. We're taxing what resources of the holistic, neighborhood that they are using to build that wealth. Because if you're just taxing income, rich people don't make income. They make their money from ownership. And that's why taxing the rich is not a solution in the way that the legislation is currently written. We have to find new strategies to make it so that somebody can't buy a $25 million Malibu mansion without paying their fair share in taxes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so I would say education, legislation, and last but not least, we got to take the taboo out of it. Functionally, like, we've been told our entire lives that talking about money is tacky, that it's gauche, that you shouldn't do it. When you go to any country club in this country, you will get onto the golf course and you will find two older gentlemen, and they've got a cigar in one hand, a beer in the other. I don't even know what they're holding the club with anymore. And they're teeing off and they're talking about what's in their portfolios, what their kids' private school costs, what advisors they're using.
Absolutely.
Why is it okay for those two people to talk about money, but girls like you and I, women like you and I, it's weird. It's not. We should have the conversation.
Love that. I couldn't agree with you more. And I really do believe it starts with education, like just early on, and how we communicate with women about money. Only 23% of women were taught about investing growing up. I obviously definitely was not in that 23%. 45% of men, you're closing the gap with the content, but the content, again, can't change the tax laws like you talked about. Where do you feel like the education is hitting a ceiling? Like, where do you think, is it just early on? Like, again, I'm 34 and I feel like I'm just starting to learn about this stuff. Where do you think that like curve is?
I think there's a ceiling with financial education right now because of competing interests. So yes, I am teaching all of this online. In theory, people can watch that content, right? But humans don't operate in fact or fiction or in theory. We operate in practice. And it's a lot harder when I'm telling you to save money or invest your money for the future, but then every 10 seconds you get served an ad for this thing that you have to have, or I'll have like the most innermost private thought that I don't speak out loud to anyone, and then somehow like an ad will come up for it. I'm like, I literally thought to myself the other day, I'm like, ooh, am I developing a neck hump? And I got served an ad for like this medical device that you can lay on the ground and like fix your neck hump. I was like, first off, I don't think this works. Second off, how did you know? Like, it was a personal, I didn't say it out loud. I didn't talk to him. I didn't text anyone about it. It was a personal private thought in my brain. And then I let the thought go away. How did you know?
How do you know?
How'd you know? Like, so like it's very easy right now, especially with how good targeting and tracking are for marketers.
Yeah.
Like, I get served something every 10 seconds. It's so hard to have the willpower to always say no, 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 no. Also, like, we really do need to talk a little bit about the consumption hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Like, we have tricked ourselves into thinking that if you don't have the next big thing, the flashiest, newest, whatever, you have a bad life. Like, keeping up with the Joneses for our parents was like literally looking out their front door with binoculars to see what the Joneses had. But you were trapped in the neighborhood that you could already afford. Like, you could only compare yourself to people who were in a relatively similar tax bracket. Now I can go on my phone and see what the inside of Kim K's private jet looks like. I don't have Kim K money. I don't have private jet money. Like, why do I need to know what that looks like? I have now been shown something that I can't have. And that's a really disheartening feeling.
Yeah.
And so I just think that the amount of social media we're consuming has essentially forced us to not even just compare ourselves with one friend or one celebrity, but it's everybody. If friends A, B, C, and D are each going on 1 week-long vacation, I now feel like all of my friends have been on vacation for a full month, even though for the other 3 weeks of that month, those friends were at their desks doing work because they didn't show that part. They only showed the part where they dragged out their vacation photos for 2-3 weeks. And so it's very frustrating to me that even though the good information is out there, it's literally competing for airspace. It's competing for airtime with stuff that is inherently trying to make you make financial decisions that are against your best interests.
Yeah, and it's just mentally draining. Mentally draining to just watch all of the things that you're like, okay, am I saving? Am I spending? Am I saving? Am I spending? Oh, I don't have this. I'm not grateful for that. It's like, it's just this cycle. But, and obviously the creator economy has blown up and the digital world. So creator economy is $214 billion, but only 4% of creators earn over 100,000, right? So let's talk a little bit about this. You have 20 plus employees, partnerships with SoFi, Investco, Adobe. I mean, so many, a podcast deal, 2 bestsellers. What did you build the most that most creators didn't? Let's talk about that side of your life.
Longevity. I always joke, and this is like kind of an ugly joke, so sorry, but like creators are NFL players. You get 5 good years and then you take 1 bad hit to the knee and your career is over. In the same way that like we have not even seen the full creator life cycle. And frankly, I feel like every 2 or 3 years, a new slate of hotter, younger, cooler, better creators comes along. And I know many creators who had careers much larger than mine, much more impressive than mine, who have now gone the way of the dinosaur. They literally are having a hard time continuing down this career trajectory because they didn't set themselves up for success. They were spending money like it was going out of style when they were raking it in. But now the phone's not ringing anymore because there is someone hotter, cooler, younger, better. And they were just like, well, these brand deals are never going to dry up. I don't want to only have one source of income because if it does dry up, I still want to be able to sustain. What am I going to go do? Like go back to a regular desk job now? That's going to be a little challenging. But I feel like I have money coming in from sponsorship partnerships. I have money coming in from the platforms. I have money coming in from ad revenue on the podcast, book advances. I have money that I get paid for speaking. I license my first book. It's now in a television development deal with Amazon. I mean, I get paid for everything. Good week, bad week, I got paid for both. Like, I need to make sure that I can make as much money as possible in the next decade because I don't know if I get a 40-year career, like a doctor, lawyer, an engineer. I don't get that. Like, I need to make a career's worth of money in a very short amount of time. And my hope is that I can extend my shelf life by doing this, that I can continue to be relevant. And I think my content in particular, because I edutain instead of just entertain, might have a little bit more longevity, but I'm trying to make myself irreplaceable.
Gusto is online payroll and benefits software built for small businesses. It's all-in-one, remote-friendly, and incredibly easy to use, so you can pay, hire, onboard, and support your team from anywhere. It's no mystery why Gusto is the #1 payroll software on G2 for fall 2025 and trusted by over 400,000 small businesses. And if you're thinking switching sounds like a headache, it's actually so easy. You just transfer your existing data, get set up fast, and you then don't pay a thing until you run your first payroll. Amazing. Try Gusto today at gusto.com/party and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/party. One more time, gusto.com/party.
When you started out, did you already know, like, what did you learn along the way? I'm just curious.
Everything.
Like, yeah, like, obviously you didn't start out knowing all of this.
Nothing.
So when you were starting out, were you just saying yes to any brand deal? Were you just, like, what type of content were you posting back then?
Yeah, so the first video I ever made went viral, which is very strange because I know most creators go at it for like a month or two before they even have one video hit. My first video was mid-pandemic. I was like, hey, everybody, you should not be listening to 15-year-old boys in their mom's basements. Do not put your entire stimulus check into, like, meme coins. Like, that is a bad idea. And I don't have a get-rich-quick scheme, but if you want to learn about money, I can teach you. That was the whole first video. And by the end of the week, that had been seen by 3 million people, and I had 100,000 followers on TikTok.
What?
I know. Crazy. It's crazy.
Were you, I just want to, because you said, like, follow me and I will teach you. You were already mentally prepared to create this, like, edutain content?
It was just because my girlfriend was the one who was like pressing me to do this. She was the most famous person I knew at the time. She had 10,000 followers on Instagram and a small like food blog side hustle. I met her at work. That was just like her fun little passion project. And she was like, yeah, just at the end, tell people to follow you. And I was like, okay, I guess. And she egged me on and told me to do it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make this content and maybe some people will follow me, but mostly this is for my coworkers so that they'll stop harassing me at work with questions. I didn't realize so many people were going to need this information. That was crazy to me. But when I saw that first video hit, I made a video every single day from then on out.
Wow.
Every single day.
What were you doing at the time? If people don't know, where were you working?
I was working at BuzzFeed in digital media strategy sales. So I was making the internet worse. I was putting ads on the internet, but that did give me a little bit of background of like how the media landscape worked. Not so much social, but more so just digital media. And I think that was a great edge for me. Like I had the finance piece from JP Morgan, but I also had the media edge from BuzzFeed that doesn't get talked about nearly as much. When I put them together, I was very interested in seeing what it meant to be a creator because I had always sold on behalf of those creators. Like I basically was an agent, but I didn't actually make the content myself. Within a couple days of that very first video, I got outreach interest for my first brand deal. And it's so funny. They ripped my face off. They were like, what is your rate for 3 videos? And I was like, I had nothing to bench on. I didn't know. So I go back to my friend and I'm like, what would I charge them? What should I charge them? And she was like, ask them for, I don't know, $1,500. I was like, oh, okay, that seems high, but whatever. So I asked for $1,500 and they're like, what about $1,200? I'm like, deal. You're going to give me $1,200? That was a lot of money. At the time, at that point, I probably had already amassed like 150,000, 200,000 followers on TikTok. They got the deal of a lifetime.
Wow.
$400 per video to my, frankly, gigantic audience that I had been, I had been on TikTok for like all of a week, but I had grown this massive audience already. And so they got the deal of a lifetime. But then I realized when we didn't really negotiate that hard that maybe that was a problem. And so for the next deal, I was like, I want $2,500. And another company was like, sure, done. I was like, oh, that's really bad. They didn't even negotiate with me. Like, that's a really bad sign. So the deal after that, I was like, oh, can I have $5,000? And some other brand was like, well, yeah, it's the top end of our budget, but we're happy to make that work for you. I'm like, are you fucking joking? I was like, all right, let me get crazy with it. And I finally went out and I was just like, I want 10 grand for a video. And the brand was like, best we can do is 7. I'm like, 8. They're like, done.
Wow.
And that all happened within a span of like a couple months.
And you still had your full-time job?
Still had my full-time job.
What was happening at work at the time? Because I hear this a lot. People are struggling to post while they're also working and building their personal brand.
I was lucky. I worked in media and we had an alias that was like, can I do this? Because so many people had like little side projects that they were doing. So I emailed this alias, this legal alias, to be like, hey, I started a TikTok. Is this okay? And they were like, yes. Please keep us apprised of if any of the deals that you do like conflict with deals that you are working on at the company. I'm like, cool, got you. It was never going to be a problem because the companies I was working with at my actual day job were like Fortune 100 companies. So I was like, they're never going to work with me. Like, that'll never happen. And for a while, that was the case. That was true. But ultimately, the thing that really led to my leaving my full-time job was I was starting to get opportunities in my inbox, and my inbox was just unmanageable. Like, I would do my day job 9 to 6:30, like every single Monday through Friday. Then Saturdays, I would script out all of my content for the week. Sundays, I would change shirts so it looked like I'd filmed a new video every single day, when in fact, they had all been filmed in the same afternoon. And then I would edit all of them and then post them day by day. And it got to a point where I was working 7 days a week. Everything was terrible. My inbox every single night for my business, Your Rich BFF, I would go to bed with like 40 unread emails. And I was getting offers for podcast deals, offers for book deals, offers to be on television. And I was like, I don't have time to handle this. And I feel like the opportunities are slipping through my finger. And so I ended up getting connected to my corporate lawyer, or my entertainment lawyer, through a friend of a friend. And she was the first person I hired. Then I was like, I can't handle this anymore. And she was like, well, maybe you should consider getting management. And I had a conversation with a management company, and they basically were like, we can't sign you unless this is your full-time job. And so I was like, okay, I'm at a fork in a road. And I ended up deciding to go for it because my thought was I'd done a really good job at BuzzFeed. My boss really liked me. I really liked my boss. He and I are still friends. I basically said to myself, I was like, listen, in a year's time, if this doesn't play out, I bet you could show up back at your boss's door, tail between your legs, and beg for your job back. You could probably get it back. Or maybe he would even help you network to find a different job. Yeah. But are you going to wonder, what if? when you're 50 or 60 if you don't do this now? And the answer was yes. I was always going to wonder. So I was like, I have to do this. And so I had a really big year the year prior, and I was able to save up $100,000 in cash. And that was my salary for the year. And I thought, if I don't make a single dollar from Your Rich BFF, if this all goes to hell, I'll be okay. I'll still be able to make rent. I'll still even be able to go on vacation. I'll still be able to buy groceries, all of that. And my husband was obviously there. My now husband, he was my boyfriend at the time, was there and was like, listen, like, I'm never going to let you go hungry. Like, it'll be fine. I'll take care of you. But I didn't need it.
He's a good man.
A good man. Okay. A good man. A good man. A good man. And he, it ended up being the best decision ever. I was able to really grow my business. I signed management. I signed talent agency. I'm at WME. I was able to onboard PR, business manager. I was able to make a full-time hire to come work for me. And like, so many things have changed in my business over the years. But I really do think, like, I am so glad I waited until the very last minute to let my full-time thing be my full-time thing, because I used my 9 to 5 to fund my 5 to 9. I know some people who have one viral video and they're ready to quit their job. I'm like, you don't even know this. There's no proof of concept.
Yeah.
You don't know.
It's constantly changing.
Yes.
So I'm curious, okay, how long ago was that? When did you leave?
I left. So I posted my first video January 1st of 2021, and I left like the beginning of April of 2022.
Wow.
So it was like a year and 3 months after.
Okay. Yeah. So I left Yahoo. So I worked at Yahoo and Tumblr. Same thing, ad sales in media. And I left December of 2019. And I was like, I'm going to try this whole like going out on my own. And my husband was like, try it. You can always go back and find another job. Like, and I did. And I'm curious. So like for me, I said, I'm going to give myself 3 months. And the second that I took that timeline out, like off of the table, I was like, okay, this is my only option. I have to succeed. It shifted. Yeah. For you, obviously, with your boyfriend and going full time on this, leaving your job, was there ever a point where you were like, this, the algorithm is always changing, like I can't keep up with content? Were you, because it is still a new world for you. Just because you were in media, I don't think like it translated as you being the creator. So how did you shift from like working with the creators to being the creator yourself?
It's hard. Yeah. And it's given me a full newfound appreciation for everything that other creators do. If you think your favorite creator is at home eating bonbons and making it look so easy, it's because they've made it look easy for you. Like that might have been their 400th take. They may have had to do a full face of makeup and then take it off and then put it back on so for you to see that makeup tutorial. Like it is a hard job.
Yeah.
You only see the glamorous parts. You don't see the failed videos. You don't even get served the failed videos. That's why you didn't see them. 4 people saw them. But like, I think that for me, having that time was so, so critical.
Yeah.
And one thing that I will say is I out hustle everybody. And I am so proud of that. I got my work ethic cutting my teeth on literally the face of the sun, like Wall Street. Like I worked in an environment where it was like kill or be killed. And I was in the office at 5:45 in the morning. I didn't get to leave until probably closer to 7. And so I was working a near damn 14-hour day. And so I took that same energy and I said, now every dollar you make is yours to keep, aside from Uncle Sam's cut. But it's every dollar is yours to keep. So like you really are incentivized to do it now.
Yeah.
If you were incentivized to show up so that, the CEO of a bank could make a shit ton of money, like you should be really incentivized now. And I was.
I love that.
I felt like I was running a marathon at a sprint's pace and I could feel the wind in my hair.
Yeah. And obviously life looks so different now. We talked a little bit about the partnerships and longevity. SoFi created a C-suite title for you that didn't exist. Talk us through that. What is the title and how did you land on that deal?
Yeah. So I am SoFi's Chief of Financial Empowerment. It is such an honor, truly, to have started my career at a bank, had a very nasty man tell me I was too girly to work in finance, to build this entire empire and to bring it full circle to then be the Chief of Financial Empowerment at SoFi is like truly a dream. And I feel so lucky because this didn't happen out of thin air. I've been longstanding partners with them. We've been together for years. I feel like I'm talking about like a boyfriend. But truly, it's dating. And, you got to kiss a couple frogs. But I feel like when you know, you know. And they have gone above and beyond, aside from like just like a standard partnership. It's never been that. In many cases, a standard partnership is you trade me money, you then post, like I give you money, you post about me. Great. My relationship with them has never been that. There are things that are not in my contract with them that they have supported, whether that be my book tour or giving out free swag to members, everything. There are things that are not in our contract that I've supported for them, whether it's, making sure to speak to certain women members. Maybe it's the fact that I am able to incorporate them naturally and integrate them into my content in a way that like isn't forced. And so we have really looked out for each other. And by kind of the third year of our relationship, we were like, so like, should we like make this official? Like, should we get serious? Should we move in together? And that's what it felt like. And now what's powerful is I have a direct line into the leadership team. So I can be like, hey, your products are great, but this is what I need to help it serve more members, to help it serve more of my BFFs. They can then be like, hey, what are your BFFs asking you? What are people worried about? What should we be focused on to make sure that we can help as many people as possible? So I give them a feedback loop, and they basically allow me to criticize, but then improve what they're already offering. And in addition to that, I think the thing that they're allowing me to do that touches my heart the most is I get to be a part of their generational wealth fund initiative.
Yep.
They have partners like Jason Tatum and Kelsey Ballerini. Jason Tatum is supporting first-time homebuyers in his hometown of St. Louis. Kelsey Ballerini is supporting schools in Nashville, Tennessee. And this is all to say, I can't announce exactly what my generational wealth fund initiative is quite yet, but I'm going to be supporting a cause that's really important to me, and that is essentially like supporting a community that I care about, and they're going to help me do it.
Unbelievable. And, talking about community, also shout out to the Celtics. I'm a Boston fan. Love that. But building your community, I love one that you leaned into rich BFF. I think women don't talk about wanting to be rich or money a lot. And so
why would you, Marina? You'll get called a gold digger.
It's insane, right? Insane. And then I see men walk in and we're like, this is our big idea. We're going to billionaires. Yeah.
Lame.
So I love that you lean into that. You call your community members your rich best friends and all of that stuff. How did you build that community? Like, what is your promise to your audience and your community? Because I know obviously that plays such a big part in these partnerships that you're building.
I can help you to have a richer tomorrow than you have today. That's it. That's what I promise them. Because I think it is very challenging right now. Yeah. I don't want to pretend like it's not. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, you can budget your way out of poverty. That's not going to happen. You actually have to make real life changes, whether that's negotiating for a raise, getting a better job. You have to pick up a side hustle, be really uncomfortable for a temporary period of time. There's a lot that needs to happen for people to climb out the mud. But no matter where you start, I think my content can help you be better tomorrow than you are today. And that really is the relationship with the rich BFFs, because what's so frustrating to me, to your exact point, people hate using the word rich because they think it's, again, like all women who want to be rich are gold diggers. That's all you care about. Yeah, that's all I care about, because guess what? When you have money, you have power, you have freedom, you have options. And that doesn't necessarily have to actually do with finance. It has to do with, I can leave a crappy job, I can leave a crappy partner, I can leave a crappy housing situation. And that is freedom.
100%. Yeah, I think growing up poor, experiencing that, even being in like really bad relationships. I was a single mom at 23. Like now life looks so different. And I'm like, oh, this is freedom for me to be able to make decisions, to have autonomy on how I want to live my life. And I don't think people realize that until they get there. But like it takes talking boldly about your goals and what you want and wanting to be rich. And I love that.
I'm trying to get rich to like uplift my community. A lot of the nasty people out there are trying to get rich to get their third yacht. Yeah. We're not the same.
We are not the same. Beyond salary and base salaries, what's a non-cash compensation, equity structure, or lifestyle clauses that you feel like women should be asking for the most that they don't even know that's on the table?
I would ask for flexible working arrangements in case you need to work from home on some days. I would ask for additional time off. I would ask for a bonus, so like a signing bonus, because more often than not, people are scared to give you salary increase because then they have to base next year's increase on that number. But a signing bonus is just standalone money at once. This can also be in the form of like a relocation bonus if you're going to move. I would say you can always ask for equity, whether that be in the form of RSUs or even stock options, ISOs. You can ask for so many things. You can even just ask for a better title. So after 2 years of this job, you have a better like leverage point to get the next job and get paid more at that one, because at every single job, you got to be learning or earning, and ideally both.
Love. Okay, let's keep the rapid fire going. One luxury purchase that's actually a great investment.
Best mattress. You need the best mattress because you spend a third of your life sleeping. You might as well enjoy it.
Oh, wait, I love that. Okay, favorite money boundary to set with friends.
I do not loan money to friends or family. I only gift. I don't expect it back, but I have a set budget every year, and once it's done, it's done.
Obsessed. One thing you bought this year that made you feel rich.
Okay, so I just bought a little purse, and it looks like a Lady Dior, but it was not. It was $135.
Oh.
And it's got a face and legs. It's like a jelly cat type of bag. It's so cute, and I get more compliments on this bag than any designer bag I've ever bought. Literally, women grab me in the street, like physically grab me in the street, and they go, "Where? Link me now." And everybody loves this bag.
Please post about it so we can stitch it into this video.
Yes.
Last one, most overrated piece of financial advice for women.
Most overrated, I would say all debt is evil. Let me tell you, when poor people borrow money, we call it debt, we point fingers. When rich people borrow money, we call it leverage, and we put them on the cover of magazines. Debt is not bad. It is a tool. You need to know how to use it, but it's not morally good or bad.
You're amazing. Tell us about your book. Where can people find you?
My book is titled Well Endowed. It is kind of the next level up of personal finance. If you want to learn how to navigate money with a partner, how to manage consumerism, how to set your kids up for success, how to estate plan so you can have a really rich today, really rich retirement, and still leave something behind, you can grab it wherever books are sold, or you can grab it at your local library.
You're amazing. Thank you so much for coming on, and we cannot wait to grab a copy ourselves.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Work Party. If you like what you heard, follow, leave a review, rate the pod, or slide into our DMs.
Check out the different ways you can create and cultivate on our website, createcultivate.com. From retreats and masterminds to our summits and festival.
We have different experiences to support you through your entrepreneurial journey from launch
to legacy.
Follow us at Create Cultivate on all platforms, and don't forget, work hard.
Party on.
Please note that this episode may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products and services. Individuals on the show may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to in this episode.